Okay, so today's topic Formula One car launches. Lots to discuss. Let's start with the
Yay!
yes. So let's start in ascending order from the lowest team in last year's championship standings. That is Haas. So if you look at the design, almost all of the cars have similar features. Haas is no exception. Haas was pretty standard. They basically followed the rule book and regulations to the point and just pushed out a car with an improved engine, it seems. But this time they will be getting the advantage of better overtaking opportunities due to the new aero design and the removal of a lot of advantageous uh, bargeboard designs from the other teams who are used to keeping them behind them. So nothing out of the ordinary for us, at least.
I
What
think
do
I
you say?
found something very interesting on us. I think that is not even their real car because they were the first to release. It's a car. It's a CAD rendering, right?
Right. But then I think most of the cars who revealed their cars, most of the teams who revealed their cars didn't reveal their actual car.
I mean, at least they had a show car,
Yes.
like Red Bull.
At least the cars on track look very different to the cars which were shown in the launch videos.
Yeah, I think that is bound to happen. But these guys. So, have you seen the front view of the Haas?
Yes.
I think I find it very ugly. I think the air intake or the side radiator grill is very weird from front. It's too narrow. I mean, it looks very weird. Your
True.
thoughts?
True. That's true. But I didn't pay a lot of attention to that because I know they will definitely modify this.
And they pick up a lot of parts from Ferrari.
Yes, it is obviously Ferrari is their engine supplier, so they will be inspired by what Ferrari do. But then Ferrari's own car is probably the best car in the last 10 years.
We'll come to that.
Yes.
We'll come to that.
Yes.
But I think Haas is a very basic car. They didn't even change the livery. They didn't do anything.
Yes, that's what I said. Basically, it doesn't look very out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
In fact, as you mentioned, the nose looks very standard. There is no special design features over there which we can appreciate, at least.
It looks pretty underdeveloped, as in I think they still have a lot of time to put things on the car. Either that or they ran out of money.
I mean, for a team which said that they spent most of last year working on this year's car, I expected it to be a bit more striking, at least visually. Because in Daniel Ricciardo's words, in Formula One cars, the number one factor in the car's success is, first of all, the engine power, and the second factor is looks. So at least they could have done something in the second factor.
I think they can't do a lot in terms of the design. Let's wait for the final release once all these cars come out in the first test. But even that is private. So it's a private test. You know this, right? This time.
Right.
It's not going to be broadcasted. So I think we'll see. Overall, as of right now, I found it uninspiring, and they might as well have pushed out the last year's car.
True.
The only excitement they got was because they were the first one to release a image of the 2022 car. I think that's it.
Yep. So they were basically whetting everyone's appetite to have a look at the new generation cars. But
Yes.
But once people started seeing the other cars, everyone forgot that they even released a car in the first place.
Do you know why people forgot? Because they didn't have a launch event. They just released 3 photos on Twitter.
Right.
That is their launch event.
I guess they were saving their money.
Well, now they don't have any excuse to not be fast.
Yes.
They better be fast.
Yep. They probably got the most. Not probably, they definitely got the most wind tunnel time.
Yep.
Being the lowest in the championship.
But they don't have a wind tunnel. They don't develop their car in-house. They partner with an Italian company called Dallara. And that is where they get a lot of parts from Ferrari, but most of the chassis manufacturing is done by Dallara. But this year people are looking forward to Haas because of the budget restriction, a lot of key Ferrari people have been offloaded to Haas and other sister Ferrari teams because they had to be released from Ferrari. They could not afford them in the budget cap.
Right.
So yeah, they got a couple of key people there. So let's see. Let's hope they surprise us.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yes, let's move on to the next car, which is Williams. So personally, I like Williams a lot because the car has a really fantastic blue colored design, and the paint scheme resembles that of a diamond in some ways. There are multiple shades of blue, and blue is kind of my favorite color, so I'm sort of biased towards it. I don't know what the engine performance is, but at least looks wise, some would say that it resembles the Toro Rosso of past a lot, but then there are a lot of distinguishing features, at least in the coloring schemes and the paint scheme. Let's hope that Williams, with the new driver Albon, gets some success, keeping in mind that the evolution changes makes it easier for the cars behind to follow more easily, and more overtaking should happen. And seeing that at least Albon is very experienced with racing at the highest level, so we should see Williams fighting for at least a higher midfield position this year.
I think Albon had an interview with Formula One. He released a small interview with them. He said on normal basis it would have been a disadvantage to join a team when for the last 12 months he has been a development driver. He was not racing in 2021, right? So for him it would have been difficult to get used to the car, but in a way that is being offset by the fact that everyone has to get used to new cars, right? So there's not a lot of carry forward from the last year in terms of getting used to the car. The feel, the behavior of the cars is completely new for everyone.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I think I saw the Williams car. It reminded, I don't know what is it, either we are putting 2 and 2 together, but I think most of the teams are giving a huge throwback liveries.
Right.
Because Williams livery looks like the old livery that Williams used to have, right? I think around 90s. It is a huge throwback to 90s livery.
Yes, that's right.
So yeah, they also removed Senna logo from the front nose, I think, which has been there since the day of the tragedy when we lost Senna. So they've put a Senna Foundation logo at the front nose of the car ever since. This is the first time it is not there.
Oh, I see.
That is one of the changes. Apart from that, nothing stood out for me.
But any idea why they did that? Because
I don't know. Maybe because it's no longer the Williams. It's not a Williams. It's a DeLorean capital Williams.
yeah,
They've got new owners. They want to handle those things in a different way. They don't want to waste a little bit of space on the car to put an S logo. Their excuse was, we want to work more closely with Senna Foundation but we want to remove the logo as well, which doesn't make sense. So yeah, just corporate things.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Let's
that's
let's
Williams.
let's move on to the next one, which
Yep.
is Aston Martin. So interestingly, Aston Martin had two car launches, or to put it more specifically, two car livery designs. The first one was shown in the official car launch, and then they revised their livery and added a bit more of the light green on the sides, if you look at it, which makes it even better in a way, I think. First one was already good. The second one makes it even more striking, I'd say.
Or was it that they released the cat design as well, which is becoming the popular thing?
Probably.
Because I think the version you're talking about that they re-released, I'm looking at it right now, and it's not a real version. It's just a cat design.
That's true. But then it's just a paint job, right? There's nothing that's differing, at least in the physical design. It's just the paint job.
Yeah,
That
it's most probably because it's a digital color. It looks much more
right,
more matte, I
right.
think.
So I guess it's if they just change the paint job, then they can just easily replicate it on the actual car. At least I
Yeah.
don't see any new hardware on the car that would make a lot of difference.
Yeah, I think it was the lighting thing. I think they always had the same livery. It was just that the lighting during the launch was such that the color appeared more darker. But now I can see the renders of the car when it's on track. I'm googling, by the way, side by side.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the renders, and in natural lighting it looks more or less similar to the CAD render. In CAD it's more dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's an interesting car. Your thoughts on the car first?
It is interesting. I can see all the standard changes due to the new regulations, but the front wing is a bit unique in this case, and a bit interesting because it kind of resembles the nose of the newly launched Mercedes.
Spoiler alert.
But it's slightly different in its own way, in that the corners of the nose are slightly more sharper if you compare it to the Mercedes, which we will come to later.
Okay.
But there's a slight variation on the nose, but otherwise, basically looks like every other car this year, aside from the livery. I guess the only distinguishing factor this time around is the nose designs and the slight variation on the sideboards.
See, these are first generation cars, so I think they will evolve. But the one standout thing that I noticed on the Aston is that it has a really high front wing.
Yes, but isn't that the case for almost all the new cars?
That is true, but this has abnormally high front wing. I've not seen a comparison of all the cars, obviously, but this was one of the first cars to get launched in brake covers on the track. I think on track the wing looks pretty high. It looks pretty high, which I don't think was the case with the Red Bull render or the Ferrari render. Ferrari does not have a huge gap between the spoiler and the road. It does not have a huge wing height. So that will be interesting to see whether it is a one-off thing or they are actually going with this.
That's
because
interesting.
they have a flatter nose, and yeah, we'll see. The thing is, we might as well be reacting to some of the designs on Assetto Corsa or some of the simulators, because these these will get so much improvement or finesse in the next couple of weeks before the first test that I think we'll see more or less different cars.
True.
These look underdeveloped for some reason.
Yes, underdeveloped, and everybody is sort of the same.
Yes. Apart from Red Bull, their car is exactly 100% developed. like Formula 1 showcase car. Yeah, that is Aston Martin. I would say it has a good livery. One thing you missed out on was the side fins. Did you notice that?
Yes, I mentioned that besides the nose, only the sideboards were the ones that were different. But yes, I did notice that there
Yeah,
is
on the
this.
engine cover.
Yes, there is a slight variation. They have fins on the sideboards, which I did not notice on any other car. Maybe it's something for cooling, probably.
I think these are available on other cars as well. I think Ferrari has them.
Okay.
This is for cooling, but not exactly for cooling. This is a so what they are doing is the radiator takes in the cold air from the front, right? Then it shoves it into a radiator layer, and then the hot air is pushed out of these vents. And this vent is angled in such a way that it blows that air out over the rear wing.
Okay.
So they get extra downforce because of that. It creates a low pressure region which creates extra downforce. I saw a video on this.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Also, if you notice the intake of the sideboards, you will notice that the intake area is quite smaller as compared to even the Williams, which has a fairly large, intake mechanism for taking in the air from the sides.
yeah, and it's not a tightly packed car. That is what I was surprised by. It's not a very tight car. Normally, cars go for that, Mercedes generally goes for that Coke bottle shape, right?
Yeah,
But this car it's got a nice booty.
that's a nice way to put it.
Yep, yep.
Yes. But in
I
your own words, these are all first generation cars,
right, right.
and I guess they will evolve a lot over the season.
They will evolve, but I think this is a fundamental design choice. Because this is something that you cannot change over a night. I think this requires a more fundamental level change because they've designed everything around the width of the radiators.
Right.
Because if you see, it scoops out, right? It bulges out at the areas where the shark fins are there, right?
So,
So that
True.
is very reminiscent of Ferrari, I guess.
Interesting that you mentioned that, because if you compare the previous team which we reviewed, Williams, with Aston Martin, both are essentially Mercedes powered cars.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there is a huge difference between how their tail ends are designed.
Exactly.
The Williams is much slimmer at the back end, whereas
Just like
Aston,
Mercedes.
yes,
Just like Mercedes, their own.
yes, as compared to Aston Martin, which is fairly larger and has more width on the back end.
Right.
Maybe those fins have something to do with that.
I think that is the reason. That is why I was saying that it'll take a longer time, because this is more of a concept that they want to. This is what the rear diffusers are supposed to do, or blow into the diffuser. They want to blow the air into the diffuser to get more suction or more ground effect or more downforce, basically. Whereas the other cars are see, this is using the rear wing, whereas if you let the hot airs out under the wing, it activates the rear diffuser. So those are two fundamental concepts that are very different. But let's see what happens. It's fun. So I think I really like the livery.
Yes, same. I think there was hardly anybody who didn't like their livery. It's very striking. I think it's a huge improvement over last year's livery as well.
But if you see, this is just a color scheme change of Mercedes livery. If you replace the green that they have, the neon green with the blue, and the base green that they have with silver, you'll have a Mercedes livery. This is exact same lines that are going on the side.
I think they saved a lot of money by just ripping off Mercedes, I guess.
As like they always do.
Yes. Same is the case with Williams. Pretty much
Yeah.
carried forward the design elements.
Yep. So who's next? That is Aston
Yes,
Martin.
let's move on to the next, which is Alpha Tauri, which is also another car with hardly any difference in the design. Even the nose, if you look at the nose, it's, I would say, slightly slimmer than Aston Martin, and the back end is slightly wider than the Williams. It's between the Williams and the Aston Martin.
Okay, I'm just googling the image. That is not a CAD render.
Yeah, there's no side fins like Aston. I think I have only seen side fins on Aston Martin. As you say, it's probably there on Ferrari as well. I guess I didn't notice that.
It is the same concept that these guys are using.
Okay.
See, have they not even shown the real car? Have they only put out the CAD renders?
Yes, I think it's only the CAD renders for now. I don't think they have shown the real car.
Wow.
Just like Red Bull, I think.
So I've just found an interesting image that I cannot show. But this image is basically a half and half view of the Aston Martin and the Alpha Tauri. Alpha Tauri is longer and it's a lot slimmer at the back.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say, that it seems a
Yeah.
bit longer, but it could just be the color scheme, because if you look
No,
at...
no, it's actually longer. It's, I mean, they've put them,
Okay,
there's a top view that they have put side by side. They've cut the first one in half, and I'll send it to you on
okay,
something.
interesting to know.
I think we might need to put this image up during the edit as well.
Yes, I can. It's a very minute. Okay, I can see the differences on the rear end.
Yes, yes. And see how fat the Aston is at the rear.
Yes, yes.
Not fat shaming the cars. They can take it.
It is definitely a lot thicker on the back end.
Yeah, yeah. But then this is a different engine as well.
Yes, yes. I think Aston, I don't know. I hope they know what they're doing.
I don't know. They just lost their team principal.
Yes, I don't know if everything is going well over there, because the leadership definitely doesn't seem to be going well. I hope the drivers get a decent car, or it could probably end up being worse than last year for them, which would be a shame, because everyone was excited about Aston Martin and Sebastian Vettel.
I think we have a lot of thoughts on Aston Martin. We should do a separate podcast for them, right? Discussing them.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things that are showing a lot of red flags there.
Right.
Let's, in the interest of this session, let's move on to, since there's nothing inspiring about the Alpha Tauri, they didn't even show the real car.
Yes.
I think it's okay, but since this is also from the Red Bull family, I think it will be really different, because a lot of the parts that Alpha Tauri uses, they pick up directly from Red Bull.
Yes. Let's move on. I want to get to the real deal as soon as I can.
Okay, who's next?
Okay, so next is a very honorable entrant in this esteemed list, and it's none other than McLaren. And the best thing about this year's car is they have sort of brought back their epic Gulf livery. At least it looks very similar to the Gulf livery.
Yep.
And the paint job is just amazing. And if you look at design wise, their nose, it's sort of similar to the nose they had last year. The really rounded edges, looks good as well, looks sharp, not too wide, not too thin, looks clean. And if you look at the back end is very interesting, because it seems like they have a sort of a bar-like structure in between, and then They have something protruding out of that on the sides. It's not as smooth as the other cars we have seen so far. Not like the Williams, which is just a straight curve right till the end. In McLaren, they have chosen a very different sort of design, which is interesting because we don't know how that's going to work out for them, at least in terms of aerodynamics. But it looks very different.
I saw this. I saw a technical analysis of why McLaren did this. So this is the second approach of handling the exhaust gases, basically.
Okay.
So what they're trying to do is the extended rear cover is going to let go of the exhaust gases right near the diffuser, which is the under part of the car behind the wheels, right? Those undercar aerodynamics or ground effect, as they call those things. The ground effect is going to play a major role this year. So just like Aston was trying to activate the rear wing, these guys are trying to activate the rear diffuser.
Right.
So I think, but I still think they have a lot that they are not letting go of.
Yeah. At least it seems like a heavier car compared to the others I've seen so far. I mean, not heavier than Aston Martin at least, but definitely on the more heavier side.
But I think they have the similar approach, not like Aston, but if you see a top view, if you Google and see a top view.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, it follows the Coke bottle shape, but then it does not slimmer down as much as the other ones like Mercedes or Alpha Tauri. It just reduces to a certain thickness and then continues to be that thick.
True.
Yeah. But apart from the livery, I don't see anything that stands out.
Yeah, that's true. But the livery is really cool.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see it on track. Yeah. Because sometimes the lighting can lie to you.
That is very true indeed.
So let's hope it works out fine.
Yep. And as far as the team itself is concerned, I think they got several new partners this year. I saw their launch event and I think Zach Brown mentioned like there were 8 to 10 new partners they had this year, which is amazing. They are getting a lot of sponsors, which means they're going all in and going to hopefully shake things up at the top, I believe.
Let's hope they do. Because they are basically diversifying their racing heritage as well. So they are in Indy, now they are in Extreme E,
yep.
And this as well, and they also are in esports.
Yep.
So
they launched all their 4 cars actually at the same time during the launch event.
Yeah, at the MTC.
Yep.
And they also retained landowner, right? Yes. Lando is now a McLaren employee till 25.
Yep.
2025, I mean.
That's got to be a huge boost to his confidence.
What must be Ricciardo thinking?
I don't know. I if you saw the launch event, Ricciardo didn't seem like he was in the best of spirits for some reason. I don't know. It could just be me, but ever since he left Red Bull, it didn't ever seem to me like he's in his element.
I saw McLaren unboxed. Have you seen unboxed?
I think he used to look better in the Renault times, at least, I guess.
Have you seen unboxed?
Yep, I have.
For the launch event.
He seems quite... not for the launch event.
They've put out an unboxed for the launch event. I think once you see that, you'll be sure that he was in good spirit.
Okay, then that's good to know.
He might have been a little on the quieter side because it was such a formal event.
Probably true.
Yeah, because they both of them have extra amount of pressure to be funny. Everyone wants them to be funny.
Yep.
I'm talking about Lando and Danny. But
Yep.
yeah, they were trying to be themselves. That's it. And let's not forget they are battling each other.
Very true.
I think Lando must be salty. I think Lando coming in second in Monza played a major role in landing him this contract before Danny. Because Lando's reply during Monza was, I think it's good for the team that I come second. Right?
Yeah.
So I think we are going to see a special time coming soon in Formula One where young people are going to lead with their teams. Max is there, Lando
Yeah.
is there, George is there,
Yep.
Leclerc is there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll
I
be
mean, Sainz is also there. He's not that young, but then he's not exactly old either.
yeah, it's going to be really interesting at Ferrari. What are they going to do?
Yep.
They've got a huge problem on their hands because didn't Sainz beat Leclerc last year?
Yep. He was well ahead of Leclerc. I think
And
he
Leclerc,
was fifth in the championship, and I think Leclerc was seventh.
yes. So I don't know. And this was just his first year in Ferrari, and that's a huge deal.
That's a very huge deal, and that's going to dent Leclerc's confidence, I think, because now he's under a huge amount of pressure. Because before that, he was the guy who was in Sainz position, which he is in right now. He was in
Right.
that position when Vettel was there in Ferrari.
I sincerely hope that they don't make Sainz leave Ferrari.
There is no way they will make Sainz leave Ferrari, especially after the performance he's given last year.
If you see Sainz employment history, you'll see how many teams have left him because of his bad luck. He was let go of Red Bull program because Max was there. He was let go of Renault because Danny Rick was there. He moved to Ferrari, obviously. He was not let go by McLaren, but he moved to Ferrari.
But then, yep, if you look at McLaren onwards, he's had
Yeah.
a lot of success.
He was successful in Renault as well.
Yeah, true, but not to the level of success he had in McLaren. And if you look at his points graph, it has been consistently increasing every year.
Yeah.
And last year was his best year, I think.
Because he was in a team that was much further up. Because earlier he was in Toro Rosso.
Yeah.
When he was in Toro Rosso, he was beating Max Verstappen some of the times.
Right. I think he's a very good candidate to move up to Mercedes if Hamilton retires in the next 2 years, I think.
I feel bad for him. After every 2 years, he has to go to a new team and adjust on a new car.
But then Mercedes would be the best place for him to show his true skill set. Because I don't think he wants to go to Red Bull. It's Red Bull is just a place for Verstappen, and everybody
think
else is just a underdog.
We took a huge sidestep now. I think.
Probably.
Let's get back to the teams and let's wrap that up. I think we've got Alfa Romeo, which is not yet out.
Right. So let's get to the number 3 team from last year, which happens to be, or at least seems to be, the star of the show, at least design wise. When you compare all the car liveries and the designs, and that is Ferrari. So when you look
I would like to say just the car designs because their overalls are appalling.
Yes, that is very true. But let's go for the car discussion first.
Yes.
So as soon as you look at the car, the first thing, the nose. The nose itself brings a whole new appreciation for the car when you look at it. Just look at the aggressive design and the side inlets for the air. They look so cool, so aggressive, and the curves on the side pods, They haven't really given a top view, I think, but I don't think we need a top view. Just the front view is so cool. And
They have not given a top view. No.
from the sides, it looks very standard. Not very different from the back. It's just the standard aero setup.
Yep.
But
Yep.
for me, it's the nose, which is really the selling point, looks wise, for this. And I'm pretty sure there is some aerodynamic angle to this as well.
I think the key this year is getting the air under the car because of the ground effect.
Yeah.
That is what they are aiming for. That is why the nose has been so narrow. But the first thing that comes to mind is this car has a personality.
Yeah.
You can distinctly identify and separate this car from the rest.
That's true. That's very true.
You know, the front air intake right on the nose is a very distinct feature. Very distinct.
Right.
And then if you go to the side scoops, they have a very similar philosophy to what Aston was having. But these guys have dented side bulbs. So have you seen those? You've not seen the side pod design, right?
Yes, I have. So, regarding what you just said, I don't see how they are similar to Aston Martin, at least this year's car, because Aston Martin has a very small opening on the side pods.
No, what I mean is they also are wider at the back.
Okay. I don't have the top view, so I'm not sure how it looks.
No, you can
overall.
see that. You can see that in the front view. Just one sec. I'll send you the view that I'm seeing.
Okay.
I think you might be able to see.
Are you seeing it on the F1 website?
No.
Okay.
I just do a random Google search. I don't go to websites. I think you might have received the image. We'll put it up on the video part, but it's just the standard video.
I am seeing this exact same image on the F1 website.
Yeah, it might be from the same place.
So it's hard to say how wide or how thin it is at the back from this angle.
So if you see, okay, let me explain what I'm saying. So if you see the wing mirror, right, the rear view mirror, right behind it, if you see, there is a dented scoop.
Yes, there is.
So that is the curvature that comes out and then goes back. If the car had been slimmer at the back, it would have gone straight back, right? So this is exactly the shape that Aston was following as well. The only difference between Aston and these guys is these guys have even wider side bulges because there's a dent in the middle.
True.
And the dent that you see in the middle is where they also have exhausts. You've not seen those, right? Or have you?
No, I don't think I've seen the exhausts.
One sec.
I don't have the rear view for this.
No, there's no rear view. They did put out an image for this, I think. Let me share that image with you.
But is that image of the modern car? Because I saw some images, but they were for the older cars.
No. This is the real car. Ferrari released those images, which I'm showing you.
Okay.
See what I've shared with you.
Okay.
Just see once.
Yep, I just saw. Now I see how you're saying it's similar to the Aston Martin.
Yes,
Side
exactly.
fins. Okay.
Yes. So this is also the similar concept, but they have gone even more aggressive. So what they are going to do is they have two angles, and the upper part will release air at a different angle. The lower bulge will cool off some of the air and then throw it up to the rear diffuser as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I saw earlier in the year I read some reports where Ferrari was claiming that they found an extra 18 or 20 horsepower. Is that still valid or?
I don't know. That will only be validated once they are on the track. So, but the livery looks amazing. I think the only issue I have with the livery is just one thing, that the driver number should have been in white or a different color.
Yep, that's true.
The black just does not suit them.
This red and black just does not look good. It looks okay when it's on the lower areas of the car, but
Right.
at least on the top side, it should have been white like the rest of the sponsor texts.
And even standing still, this car looks fast. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know,
This
right?
car looks fast.
That's true.
Yeah,
As a,
that's a pretty
as
car.
as a Ferrari fan, you must be excited.
I'm not a Ferrari fan. Not 100%. I was excited for. I was following them when Seb was there, so
Okay,
I'm more of a Seb fan.
okay.
I am my old my true association is with Red Bull. Yeah, so if you remember, I have their merch as well.
So you're basically supporting your team by buying their drinks in large quantities.
Yes, I'm a big fan. They make good drinks.
Good.
It does give you wings.
Nice, nice.
I just love their whole approach because they have zero compromise approach.
That's true. What I love about them is their ability to pull off some things which are impossible, like amazing pit stop times, which is something they do consistently. And the few times they do mess up, everybody else messes up as well, so they don't really get affected. There has been so many uh, instances where they had a slow pit stop, and then their competitor also had a slower pit stop.
But that was because
Yeah.
the Mercedes raised a dispute, and because of which some of the automation in the pit stop was removed. So, if anything, it was a Mercedes issue because of which the whole pit was suffering. It's okay. So, Ferrari looks beautiful.
Yes.
I think.
Before we move on to the next team, let's do a quick discussion on the driver liveries.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
The costumes, which
Pathetic.
I don't think the designer did a great job.
So what I think is they saw some of these design as counterfeit outfits on some Indian market. Because I think I would, if this was on the shelves, right, in the same color that is being shown in the photos, I would strictly assume that this is a counterfeit Ferrari material, right?
True. Just the simple red looked so much better from the past years.
Yeah, red and black would look good if red and white and red and black, they both look good.
I mean, if they had to put black, they should have been a bit more creative. But the way they put black into this uniform, it looks very weird and very standardish.
People are calling it McDonald's uniform.
Yes, looks like, yes, exactly. It looks like a uniform of some company.
Yeah.
It is a uniform of the company, but
Yes.
at least it should feel a bit more, like it's Formula 1 level, which it doesn't feel like. If they just replace the black with white, I think the uniform would improve drastically.
I think what they did was they spent all the money on designing the car livery and then threw whatever color palette they had on the overalls. I think that is what happened.
I guess it's probably cheaper to push out black than white. I don't know.
But I'm happy because 90% of the time you don't see the driver overalls, you see the car. Yes. So it's not an eyesore.
That's true. Unless they come on the podium too much.
Yeah, that is just 1 or 2%. For a 2-hour race, they only step on the podium for 10 minutes. So, and if they start winning, it'll be amazing as well.
Yes, that's true. The midfield has never looked more competitive.
I don't think so. I think there are a lot of different designs, but I think when you have variety, there's a chance that only a few of them will work. Simple. And the others will be left behind. I hope it is not the case. But yeah, that is what it looks like right now.
Yeah. So now that we have covered 8 of the 10 teams, we left out Alpine and what's the other one?
Alfa
The
Romeo.
Alfa Romeo, right? Because they haven't yet launched their cars.
At the
So
time of the recording.
yes, indeed. So now let's move on to our final two challengers, the big two.
Mhm.
One is the constructors champion, one is the drivers champion.
And they both put out a phony car.
Yes, one more so than the other, I'd say.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's look at the more phony car, which is the team which was number 2 in last year's championship, which is the Red Bull.
Yes.
And at first glance, everything about this car looks somewhat similar to last year's car, which is quite strange because every car on the grid looks very different except this year's Red Bull. But then if you look at the nose and the rear wing, you quickly notice differences. But when you look at the sides of this car, it's very similar in design to what they pushed out last year, don't you think?
I mean, this is the F1 show car that they put out last year. So this is exactly a replica, exact Xerox copy of what F1 put out in that multicolored thing. If you remember, last year they had a huge show around releasing the new car. I think they released that in Silverstone, right? So this is basically a reskin version of that car. This is not at all Red Bull's car. This is not at all their last year car. This is the F1's demo model. They basically bought that and skinned it. So I don't know if we even want to comment on it or not. I think it's better to save some energy and time and move on. We are going to see a new Red Bull car, which has already been on the track.
Right.
And but there are no clear images of it, so
Right. Maybe we'll review it along with the 2 teams that are left.
I think
Hopefully,
we'll do a similar long session once we have the first test.
yes.
So I think we should not talk about Red Bull much. The only thing we can talk about is they have a new sponsor. They have 2 new sponsors. One is a Bitcoin company, crypto exchange, sorry. And the second is Oracle.
Yes. Oracle
good
is
for
the new title sponsor of Red Bull.
Yeah, good for them.
Yes. I mean, hopefully, good for them.
I think it's a huge deal. They've spent a lot of money on that.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get Red Bull out of the way.
Yes. So let's move on to the final team, the team which released their cars today.
Yes, at the time of recording.
At the time of recording, which happens to be Feb 18th, which also happens to be the date where Mercedes revealed their F1 W13. And at first glance, the car looks okay, not too shabby.
Which one?
Not too, the car which was out on the tracks, not the one they showed.
Oh, you mean the third car that they released?
Yes.
They showed one car.
Yes.
They released the car design of another car, and then they brought to the track another car. Nice.
I think, as you mentioned earlier in the day, the launch events, they are probably pre-recorded. Not probably, they are definitely pre-recorded.
Yes, they are.
And they recorded with a very earlier iteration of these cars. And when they actually put it out on track, then we get to know what the real car looks like. And I must say the real car looks very different from the one in the recording. Looks better, I would say. The nose looks, I think the Williams is like a very close copy of this year's Mercedes. Nose, starting from the nose and going back to the back end near the rear wing, it's the exact same width if you look at it from the top. And even the side fins, they don't have a lot of differences when it comes to width and design. You could say the Mercedes is a bit slimmer, but not by a long margin. if you look more closely, you would see that uh, the Mercedes actually has a few similarities with the McLaren design when it comes to the back end. But because of the paint scheme, it doesn't seem very apparent at first glance. But when you look at it closely, there is a very small similarity. It looks a bit boxy on the end, but the very clever paint scheme makes it more streamlined. What do you think?
Right. The couple of things that strike me is, first of all, the silver looks weird. They didn't need to put a red on top, but I guess that's their sponsor.
Yes, I mean, this is approximately the same theme as they had when they were silver the last time around, about 2 3
Right.
years ago.
So,
They just
so
followed the same design elements.
yeah. So two things stuck out. One is the rear wing, which is very different. They
Yes,
have a double-layered rear wing, and their I think the front nose design is. I think it will get changed. I think that is not even the real one, but the thing that attracted my curiosity was the side pod design that they had on the car that they were showing in the live stream.
yeah.
It was very wavy, lasagna like. I saw someone in the Reddit thread call it similar to a lasagna. So yeah, that was one of the things. Apart from that, I think this is also a dummy car. They have been developing these cars for 2 years. They still don't want to show it. Then why do they even call them a launch car event? They should call it a livery launch event.
Probably they are trying to be competitive and not show too many secrets.
Yes, then don't call it a car launch. You're not launching a car. I
But
hate Red Bull even more.
Formula One wants the marketing. I mean, look at the launch event durations. The
Yeah.
smaller teams had like 15 to 20-minute launch events, and the bigger teams are all going for 40-minute events. McLaren had a 40-minute event. Red Bull had like a half an hour event. Mercedes again had a 40-minute event. I mean, they are trying to just get the viewership. And
It's just a
keep
PR stunt.
Yes.
So, now to summarize, which is your favorite one? Just
And
one livery if you had to choose.
I mean, I already said it, but Ferrari has got to take the number one spot,
Oh wow.
and Aston Martin comes a close second. And just because of the blue, I think for me, Williams is number 3.
Wow, I just asked which one is your favorite and you gave me the top 3. Nice.
Yes.
Grazie ragazzi.
So now that I've mentioned it, probably you should state your favorites as well.
If you're going for top 3, I guess it makes sense to put out top 3. Ferrari is there. Ferrari looks the best. You can't just... No car even comes close to looking that good. So Ferrari is there. I would say I like the Aston a close... No, I think I like the McLaren a close second. And then Aston the third.
Nice. Actually, yes, I would say McLaren is probably a better suited car for number 3 in my list as well. Williams gets
Yeah.
pushed to number 4.
Like they always do. But I think we have decent looking cars. At least it's a refresh of the paint schemes for a lot of teams. Mercedes has gone... Every other team apart from Mercedes and Red Bull has refreshed their livery in one way or the other. Alpine is going to be a pink influenced livery because they have BWD now. So
Yeah.
I think they're gonna have a good livery. But I'm so sad that it was a good opportunity for Mercedes and Red Bull to start a new era.
I mean, Mercedes already has an established brand presence, so they will probably go with what they want in terms of global branding. So I didn't expect them to do a huge refresh.
Yeah, but I personally think black looked better. I personally think silver arrows is okay, but I think black, had they
Yeah.
put a matte black,
Yes.
oh my god, that would have looked so
the black especially from 2020 was really good. the one
Yeah.
which had the stars behind.
Yes, not the AMG
Last, yeah,
names, just the stars.
yep. Last year's car was not that good.
Yeah. Yeah, so overall predictions, which of these cars do you think looks the fastest?
I mean, as you said, I would agree that Ferrari definitely looks really fast. But then again, it's just by looks alone, you can't really say which car is going to be faster. I think we'll have to wait till the first test, and we will probably do another episode that day.
I mean, if I was a betting man, I would still say I'll put my money on Red Bull this year. I think so.
I would definitely not put my money on Red Bull. I think it's going to be in between. I mean, Red Bull will be there in the fight for sure, but I think Ferrari, if their claims are true that they found another extra 20 HP, I think they could be a serious number one contender this year. So at least for the first couple of races, I'll be closely watching Ferrari.
But you do know that Ferrari had to make that game because it was the lowest spec engine.
Yes,
Right. So
that is also true.
yeah, so
But
them getting 20 HP is same as them being parity with
But then
Honda.
I'm not just looking at the engine power alone. I'm looking at several factors here. First of all, the overtaking should be better this time around, and
Yeah.
there are a lot of other features on each of the cars as well, including factors like testing time. Ferrari should have a slight advantage compared to Red Bull and Mercedes. Mercedes has the biggest disadvantage when it comes to testing because it is number one. So I don't know how much improvements they can make across the year, but Ferrari has definitely got more chances to improve than Red Bull and Mercedes. Okay.
I only bet on Red Bull because of Adrian. I think he has done it multiple times. So I think he might have something, one or the other. I think we might see on testing, but I still think Red Bull might be onto something because they have a balanced lineup. They have a mature second driver, but they also have a fast first driver. Whereas in Mercedes, if the car is fast, right? I don't think so George Russell will listen to team orders. So I think they have a problem on their hand if the car is fast.
That remains to be seen. But if it is fast, then it could well be a repeat of 2016, and everyone behind them will be just spectators. Let's hope they're not that fast.
They can't be that fast because in 2016 the only reason they were so fast was because they had the V6 advantage, right? That was the only reason why they were so fast. Now that has more or less disappeared, right? And the engines are now going to be frozen till 2025. No more power development. Right. So I think the engine advantage is gone. But if they are fast, I think Ferrari will be up there, Red Bull will be up there. There's a good chance that Mclaren can be up there because it's just the aero thing. No, it's just an aero game. But yeah, because there are so many different designs, some of them are bound to fail. Yeah, with this I think that covers everyone.
Yep.
I think so I think it's time to wind up, and
I think we had a great discussion today. We covered all the cars. Feeling a little bad that we can't actually show the viewers the cars themselves.
I think they can Google it. If you Google it, you'll see those cars, and if you are watching the video version, most probably put up one of those screenshots.
Maybe we can put up a few shots of the cars in our video. We can get the images from f1.com maybe. Yeah.
I'll take care of that.
Yep. Because that would be a very good value add for everyone who's watching. At least.
Yep. To anyone who's listening on the audio, please check out the video. The link for the video channel would be in the description. And we will see you next time, most probably around testing. Yeah.
Yep.
So, like the Italians say, ciao tutti.
Yep.
Okay, then. That's all, and see you guys next time. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.